Never have I ever been arrested. No. No, I have not. Never have I ever gotten a ticket. No. No, I have not. Never have I ever faked being sick or lied to get out of work. No. I have not. I have not called in sick to any of my jobs unless I was legitimately sick or there was some, like, legitimate reason. I've never called out. Never have I ever eaten someone else's lunch from the fridge. No, that's rude. I have not, and if you have done that, I'm a little disappointed. Although, actually, now that I think about it, I have had snacks that were my coworkers. But, like, it was like they'd be like a big bag of chips just, like, sitting on the table. And I didn't have a lot. I would just have, like, one or two here and there. But, like, they do the same for my food, so I don't think that counts. Never have I ever smoked a cigarette. No. No, I have not. Never have I ever smoked marijuana. No. No, I have not. Never have I ever fallen asleep at work. I have, but it was on my lunch break, so I don't feel like that actually counts. And I, like, set a timer. I have fallen asleep in school, though, and I tried my hardest to stay awake, and I just couldn't. Never have I ever read a partner's text messages or emails. No. No, I have not. Unless it was, like, an accident. You know, sometimes, like, a message will pop up, and you, like, kind of see it, but I don't, like, go through it and read it or purposely try to read it. Never have I ever been to the ER. Yes. Yes, I have. I have been a few times, actually. I went once for randomly, I got, like, a cyst, and then it got really, really, really infected, and it hurt so bad. I was, like, crying, and so I had to go and, like, kind of gross, but I had to, like, go and get it drained, and I had to be on, like, antibiotics for a week, and it just hurt so bad. And I also went to the ER for severe anxiety that I just could not. They had to, like, give me Ativan. It was really, really bad. Never have I ever accepted a drink from a stranger. I have, but it wasn't like I was with my friend and she saw somebody from her work and it was my birthday, and so her friend was like, oh, I mean, they weren't friends, but my friend's acquaintance was like, oh, give her a drink, and she sent a drink over to me. But, like, I haven't accepted a drink from a stranger. I've never been offered a drink from a stranger. Other than that, never have I ever called a partner the wrong name. I always think of Friends. When Ross calls Emily at their wedding Rachel. I have not ever called a partner by the wrong name, but I've been close to it and I catch myself. It usually happens while, like, arguing or something. I was very, very, very close to calling my crush by my ex's name at the time while we were arguing, and I was about to say his name, and I literally, like, barely caught it. Never have I ever used a fake ID. No. Never have I ever blabbed something I swore to secrecy. Yes, but this sounds bad, but, like, okay, I'm trying to explain this because now that sounds bad. not something I'm gonna compromise on anymore. But there were some times, because I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. Never have I ever accidentally said I love you to someone. Yes, I have. I don't know if this video is going to be posted before this one or after, but there's a whole video, not a whole video on that particular thing, but about like relationships and just awkward or romantic things that had happened. And I have a story about how I accidentally said I love you to my boyfriend the very first day that we started dating, so check that out. Never have I ever snooped through a friend's room, cabinets, or property. I have not their room, because that I feel is such a violation, and not their phones, not their property, but I've definitely looked in like bathroom cabinets before, just to like see what like brands of toothpaste they use, and just like the cabinets that have like the band-aids. I don't know why. I try not to do that anymore. Again, like that's something I mainly did like when I was a little bit younger, but yeah, it's still a violation of privacy, but yes, I have done it. Never have I ever thought a cartoon character was hot. Yeah, pretty frequently. Mainly guys from Barbie or Disney princess. Yeah. Never have I ever regifted something. Yes, absolutely, I have regifted. Never have I ever crashed a party or wedding. I accidentally crashed a party. So here's a random story time for you. There was this sign on the side of the road that said like 79 days clean, and I was like, what? I don't know who that's for, but like good for them. And every day they would update it, and we went to a garage sale nearby. It was a couple summers ago. We went to a garage sale nearby, and it was like there was this lady, and she was mentioning that with somebody else. She's like, oh yeah, I think like name like Joe or something. She's like, yeah, Joe's sobriety party is coming up soon. And my mom and I heard that, and she's like, yeah, he has the sign out on the side of the road. And my mom and I were like, oh, like what's going on with that? And she's like, oh, Joe is clean. I think it was alcohol that he was like sober from, and so she was just like talking about that with us, and she's like, you should come to his party. It's for anybody, like anybody can come, just like celebrate his sobriety. It's gonna be at a park by kind of the water, and it's gonna be like a picnic, and bring your own food and like share with everybody. So we're like, that sounds awesome. So we went, and we didn't know this guy at all. It was a complete stranger, but we're like, why not go to his sobriety party? That sounds like fun. So my mom and I go, and the lady was like, just look for like the beach access. It wasn't even a beach, but it was like one of those like beaches kind of by like, I don't know if it was like a lake or a river or something. She's like, there's a private entrance. It's gonna be open. Make sure to go to the back, all the stuff. And so it was like, she gave us like an address, and so we're on our way there, and we can't find this access point, and so we're going through to kind of where the address says, and we hear a party going on over at a house that was like right by there, and we're like, oh, this must be it. So we go through there, and we like get up to the house, and there's like music playing, there's a barbecue. We're like, oh, this is lit, this is awesome. And we get up there, and we're like, hey, we're here for Joe's sobriety party. And this guy looks at us, and he's like, sobriety party? And like, we're already like in the entrance, and we're like already there, and we're thinking that this is the party. We literally just like walk into this party, and he's like, this isn't Joe's sobriety party. And we're like, well, like we found this, like the address, it's supposed to be here, like the beach access, blah blah blah. He's like, he literally was like, no, this mom and I, oh my cat, sorry, my mom and I were like mortified that we just almost crashed this barbecue that wasn't ours, and like, we were just like, well, can you direct us? Then, like, I don't know where we're going. And, like, the guy was actually really nice, and everyone there was, like, really nice about it, but we definitely walked into a completely wrong party that was not meant for us, that we were not invited to, that we thought was ours. And he's like, it might be down there, so we go down there, and that was it. It was like, so anyways, we tried to go to this stranger's sobriety party and ended up at a gay barbecue that we weren't invited to. So there was that. But they were really nice about it, so we were a little less embarrassed, but I was definitely still embarrassed. Okay, next one. Never have I ever been on a blind date. No, I have not. Never have I ever done a drive-by of an ex's or crush's house. Yes, I have. Never have I ever fallen in love at first sight. Yeah, I have. Not like, okay, it depends on like what you define as love. But there's been guys I've definitely, like, an employee at a store where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about them, and I'm like, they must be my husband. Never have I ever been blackout drunk. No, I have not. Never have I ever cried at a party. Yes, I cried at senior prom because I had so much anxiety. I also cried at another party because I had anxiety. I cry a lot when I have anxiety in public, apparently. Never have I ever gone more than 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. No, I have not. I don't go more than 4 over the speed limit because at 5 in America, I think it's 5, you get ticketed, or you can get ticketed. I tried to go right on the dot, or just like 2 miles above. I'm a little weird like that. Never have I ever gotten a tattoo. No, I have not, but I am planning on getting one of a moon with 2 little kitties on it, with their little tails curling down. A small one, like a little crescent moon, on my wrist. Never have I ever stood someone up. I haven't stood anybody up, but I did cancel, like, same day, like an hour before the date, just because I was having so much anxiety, and I was just like, I can't do this. I was just like freaking out, and yeah, so I did it like an hour before the date, and I felt really, really bad about it, but I was like, I can't go through with it. Never have I ever texted an ex out of nowhere. Yeah, I have, but it wasn't like you think. So, short little story time. The breakup that I had with this particular ex was like kind of bad, not like bad, but like we definitely did not talk to each other. We didn't like each other. I think I didn't like him. I think he liked me okay and was fine. I was like, no, he had wanted to be friends, and I was like, no. I had actually blocked him on social media. I didn't want anything to do with him. He just like really hurt me and did some really like crappy things to me. So I didn't want anything to do with him. I didn't want him to contact me or anything. So that all happened, and it was about a month, like a year after we had broken up. Maybe 2. I don't remember, honestly. And my dad had mentioned that he saw him. I don't know where he saw him at, but they had talked, and it was just like, after that I was like, oh my gosh, and I couldn't get him out of my head, but in like this weird way that I couldn't explain. It wasn't like I was thinking about him like, oh wow, I miss him, or oh, I hate him. It wasn't was like, he needs to know, like, about Jesus. He needs to hear this. He needs to know that he's not alone. There were just certain things. I was like, he feels hopeless. He feels like he's walking around life without, like, I just saw, like, visually, I saw this picture of him walking, like, with his head hung low, feeling hopeless, and all this stuff that was just so vivid that I could not stop thinking about for 3 days straight. It, like, consumed me. And so, like, keep in mind, I didn't hate him, but I really, really, really did not like him. I didn't want anything to do with him, yet I was feeling this weird, like, he needs to know. I need to share. There's, like, words that God wants me to share with him. And it was one of the hardest things to, like, that I've ever done, honestly, to talk to him and to have this, like, God-given, like, kindness and empathy and compassion for this guy that had hurt me so badly and just, like, done all these things to me. And so I unblocked him and I messaged him and I was like, hey, sorry, this is random and out of the blue. I don't mean for it to be. And I explained to him this whole thing. I was like, this is what God has been telling me. This is what you've been going through. There's hope. I just want to let you know you're not alone. This is what God has done for me. All this stuff that I just felt God, like, speaking through me and, like, so clearly. And I guess he started, like, actually crying. I had never really seen him cry, but I guess he started crying and just being like, this is accurate. Like, I don't know how you know that, but, like, yeah, that's what's been going on in my life. And sorry, that's my dog. And so we had just, like, a conversation about that, and then we parted our ways, didn't talk. I don't think we've talked after that. But so, like, I have reached out to an ex out of nowhere, but it was, like, a really weird situation. And now I'm like, yeah, I want nothing to do with him. But at the time, I was like, I could not withhold it. It was weighing so heavily on me and on my heart and in my mind. So, anyways, those are all the questions that I've written down. I hope that you got to know me a